All right, let us continue with chapter on decision making. We have discussed previously the 7 steps in the decision making process, and actually the 7 steps of decision making process is also known as rational economic decision model, meaning that this is the type of decision making where we focus on how decisions should be made, not on how they are actually made, more in terms of the practical part or theoretical part. So this is what we call as rational economic decision model. It provides guidelines to help the organization or the group to reach an ideal outcome, and that's why we call it as a rational economic decision model. But however, as human beings, sometimes we have limitations. And to acknowledge that human limitation, another scholar have developed a behavioral decision-making model, which is kind of like dissimilar with what we had already discussed. This model operates on the premise that a person's cognitive ability to process information is limited. That's very, very true. Sometimes during our bad day, we might not be able to process that much information. So that might affect in terms of our cognitive ability to make a better decision. And there are several behavioral decision making model that have been highlighted in your textbook. Number one, we talk about bounded rationality. As we all human beings, we have limitation. We can only see the things that is right in front of our eyes, and outside of this room there is no way that you are going to see what is going to happen. There is no way that you would know what your employees would be doing, and so that is part of our bounded rationality. We can only rationalize based on what we know, what we see, what we have. And then intuition is the type of decision that you use your innate instinct, kita punya gut feeling, whatever it is that we feel is right. And then satisfying is the type of decision making where managers would select a type of decision that would satisfy the situation. It is not the best solution. It is not the best results. It is not the best actions that we could take in order to overcome the problem. It is just something that we implement just to deal with the issue. Asal ada je lah, kan? Dalam bahasa kita, asal ada je. That is satisfying. And then escalation of commitment is that your behavior towards a certain decision would increase once you have a problem or issue. For example, you submit a report to me and I give you a 0 because I don't like the way you write, I don't like the way the content, and then suddenly you change your commitment for this class. You come early, you start to ask questions, you start to text me and ask for further details on the assignment. So that is the escalation of commitment. That is quite normal for all of us. That is the behavioral types of decision making. And then in decision making, we also talk about group decision making. This one you can read it on your own. We are going to discuss in terms of the advantages of group decision making. There are several advantages. Sometimes when you do group decision making, there will be more ideas, more expertise, more information, more data and facts accumulated, and then you can have several perspectives, views from different people towards that particular problem, and then you have higher member satisfaction, and then greater acceptance and commitment to the decision making. However, there is also issues with group decision making. For example, it requires a lot more time. Sometimes in the group decision making, the minority domination, only 1 or 2 people who speak up during the meeting, and the rest is all yes sir, yes sir. And then you start to compromise because it's already like almost 5 o'clock. And then you need to rush back home, need to pick up your wife, need to pick up your husband, need to pick up your children. So, and then at the final decision, when they propose a decision, you tend to agree, regardless of whether or not it is beneficial to you or to the organization. You start to compromise. And then concern for individual rather than group goals. social pressure to confirm, and because everybody's in the room already agreed, say yes, and then when it comes to your turn, even though that you did not fully agree, but you tend to conform dengan social pressure. And finally, groupthink. Okay, what is groupthink? Groupthink is an agreement at any cost mentality that results in ineffective group decision making. Yes, okay, setuju, I agree. And so that is the type of groupthink, the type of behavior lah. Characteristics of groupthink: self-censorship. You do not want to expose yourself too much, because you don't want to be criticized by the members of the team. So you tend to just keep it to yourself. So whatever decisions that people are proposing, you tend to agree. So now we discuss on the techniques and for enhancing quality of group or participative decision making. There are several examples of participative decision making. For example, brainstorming, nominal group technique, Delfy technique, Devil's advocacy approach, and dialectical inquiry. Brainstorming, everybody knows brainstorming, technique to enhance creativity. The main objective is to get as many ideas as possible. There is no right or wrong answer in brainstorming process, and because the whole idea is to generate more ideas, and between 5 to 12 people, that is brainstorming. And then we have nominal group technique, a structured process designed to stimulate creative group decision making, where agreement is lacking or the members have incomplete knowledge concerning the nature of the problem. So you brought over people into the situation and you give them an issue, and then they try to solve it, and without knowing that the nature of the problem. MGT is used in situation where group members must pool their judgments to solve a problem and determine a satisfactory course of action. And then Delfy technique, we use expert prediction to make forecasts about future events without having to meet face to face. And we have Delfy Devil Advocacy, an individual or subgroup appointed to critique a proposed course of action and identify problems to consider before the decision is final. So you play like an opponent to the proponent punya idea. So you tend to critique, to look at things from different perspective. And then dialectical inquiry approaches a decision from two opposite points and structures a debate between conflicting views lah. So it's like a debate where ada yang sokong, ada yang tak sokong, and then we try to have a dialectical kind of discussion among the members lah, inshallah. So that's the end of this chapter, and please look at your notes again, and if you have the textbook, look back at your textbook and do your own notes based on what we have already discussed. All the best. Peace.